welcome to GB Campervan's latest van tour on a Hearse. Let's have a look inside. Yeah, so we've had a customer come to us with a slightly unusual vehicle. It's based on a Vauxhall Vectra, that's the front end that is, but the back end is of an old Hearse. So it come to us stripped out. You may have seen some pictures that we put on our Facebook page of it being completely empty, but this is the final conversion that we've put in. So the bed's down already. So that's almost a metre wide bed, and it's over 6 foot tall. It's about 6'2" in length, so a nice long comfortable bed. Let's pop it back into its seating position and we'll go through what's in the storage unit. Nice and simple operation then with the bench seats that we make. So you take the infill cushions out, which you can use as a backrest, most people do. You're just going to lift up that front seat and slide that front part back in, lock it in place. So we put 4 heavy duty runners on the seats, no matter how long or how short it is, just for stability. I would imagine that this customer will travel with those lying down on the seats when they're travelling around, so slam them back in, it locks those runners back in place, and we get 2 nice long bench seats. So you could get a few people. I mean, I won't show you the front end, but it's still got 4 travel seats in here. So, okay, there's not enough room on the bed for 4 people, but there's certainly, I would say, enough room for 4 people to sit in here. Could be a party bus. Let's have a look what's in the storage unit. So, right at the very end of the unit here then, the very first compartment, we were asked to install a sink. As you could probably guess with the tap there, we just make a little sink cover just so that it tidies it up a little bit. So it's a 260 by 320 sink. It's got a cold water supply. We just use a normal Whale submersible pump. So they've got a cold water supply. The 2 containers live in there, so that one will collect the waste, and then the one at the back delivers the fresh water. So they're only small containers because this unit is quite low, because what we didn't want to do was make it that much taller that it just looked a little bit odd. So they're 2 5-litre containers. I mean, 5 litres of water will go a fair old way. And then you've got a bit of space in there as well for some extra pieces of equipment you might want to put in there. So that's the first compartment, and with it being, it's over 2 meters in length from back to front. Obviously we have to be careful of the rake of the back of those passenger seats and then shutting the door down as well. Plus they still need to get access to the rear lights or the light clusters, because it's an older vehicle, so you take the light cluster out from the back to change the bulb. So we needed to keep the access free for those as well. So coming along, we've got another compartment. Now these 2 are just both empty, so you can fill away, and the same with this one. So you get a fair old bit of storage in here. Then you get your twin USB and your 12-volt power socket above there as well. So it's only got a leisure battery in it. It's got a 100 amp hour leisure battery. Because of the age of the vehicle as well, there was no need for a DC to DC charger. We went for a heavier duty split charge relay, and we put bigger cables in so it can handle a bit of a better current. So yeah, no mains in here, just 12-volt electrics. Now this is the Vitrifigo 20-litre top loading fridge, and it does say there on the sticker 3 days plus, runs for 3 or more days on a 100 amp hour leisure battery. How true that is, I don't know. I would imagine you probably can't have anything else on. But if they only intend to go away for a couple of nights, obviously when you drive the vehicle, it will charge the leisure battery back up as well. So that, you know, I will tell them when they collect it that they've just got to be careful with the running of the fridge. But it was there for them, they asked for it, it's been fitted. So you fit everything, and it's vertically 20 litres. So stainless steel inside all the way through, stainless steel on the inside of the lid, nice rubber seal. Now with this particular model as well, the dial and the on-off switch, if you like, is a separate component. So we have to find somewhere for that to fit so that you can turn the fridge on and off. Now, rather than putting it on the outside where you might knock it or you're going to turn it on, so you normally, in any case, with the smaller fridges, you know, the 25 litres, the 40 litres, 50 litres, the dials are on the inside of the fridge so that you can, well, so that you don't knock them and stuff like that. So what we've done with this one is locate it in the cupboard, because you're only going to want to come in and turn it on once. So there you can see max here, min there, it's in the off position. If we turn that, I've just heard the thermostat kick in, and now I can hear the fridge. You probably can't, but it's just humming very, very lowly. So I'll turn that off. So like I say, you're only going to turn it on, you're going to set it to your temperature, and then you can throw the stuff in the cupboard and do whatever you need to. This particular little hatch here is a service hatch to get to the fridge if it ever needs a repair of any kind, without having to drag it all out, so you can get access to the compressor and all the electrical components down there. Yeah, and then, I mean, you get a lovely spacious worktop. So, you know, you can fit a portable gas stove on there, obviously with the glass being fixed glass in here as well. You'd have to be careful of ventilation, so opening that back door, because it's a tailgate as well, obviously that gives you a nice bit of cover if the weather is a little bit drab. So you could certainly open up the back door, do a little bit of cooking in here and let that ventilation flow through. So yeah, the Hearse, it was a little, I'll be honest, it was a little bit scary doing it. Especially when I was locked in the unit on my own at certain points. So yeah, whether I'll do another one or not, I mean, who knows? If somebody brings me one along and it's empty, I'm sure we can kit it out to this kind of spec. But yeah, as regards to coverings on the windows, that's going to be left down to the customer, because there's nothing to actually fix to up there. I couldn't put my curtain sets that I buy for the various vans, so I believe they're going to get some thermal blinds made with the stick-on suckers, just to cover up those parts there. And again, they'd have to get something done nearer the front as well, because there's no, in the other smaller vans that we do, there's a beam that runs across where the cab separates from the rear, so we can mount a curtain rail up there. In this case we couldn't. But I'm sure they'll come up with something, or even just use it as a day van. You know, it's perfectly good to go out, have a couple of picnics, go and do a bit of walking, come back, make a cup of tea, get your sandwiches out of the fridge. Unless, I don't know, I might be barking up the wrong tree here with it being used for camping. It could still be used for body parts, I suppose. Any excess body parts you can keep nice and cold in the fridge. You can wash the blood off in the sink, and then you could store them under the seats and carry maybe 2 or 3 bodies in here at one particular time. I don't know, but yeah, I think it's been built for camping and day trips. So thanks for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Don't forget, we've got a website, contact form on there, contact number, gbcamperconversions.com. Drop us an inquiry, we'll do our best to get back to you. It's coming close to Christmas, so fair play to you if you're still out there camping in these chilly times. But I hope you all have a lovely Christmas and a great New Year, and we'll see you next year in the next video. Take care, folks.